Hey folks, I have a lot of interesting conversations with people about budget guitars. There are quite a few good chat sites on Facebook and other places where people talk about their experience and how it's different these days than when they grew up, the options, with all the direct sale companies like IYV and Firefly, Harley Benton, Thomann, Rondo. You name it, there's tons of them. Hard Luck Kings, gosh, Guitar Fetish, um, AIO, the ones that sell the Wolf guitars. And all these comments about all these guitars you can get anywhere between 150 and $300 now that just weren't an option 10, 20, 30 years ago. And I'm thinking one of the reasons for that is that spot used to be occupied by Squier and Epiphone. So Squier would make Fender copies of all the Fender guitars, shapes and models, and Epiphone would do the Gibson ones, and that was really your budget brand. That was your go-to. And for years, if you couldn't afford, a Fender Tele or Strat, you would go with a Squier equivalent. And I've noticed over the last couple of years just amazing creeping up of the prices. I mean, every time I look at a Squier, it just boggles my mind how much they've got in price. I've just got an Amazon page open here. We've got the Squier Affinity with an amp for $370. Here's a blonde Blackguard Affinity for $230. The cheapest possible is a Sunburst Bullet. That's $190. That's almost $200. That's more than $200 with tax. Squier 50s style Telecaster Butterscotch, $450. Let's see. If you look at the Classic Vibes, $460. $460 for a Classic Vibe thin line. $480 for a Classic Vibe 50s style Telecaster in Sunburst. That's over $600, and so on. $480 for a Jaguar or a Strat. Here's an Affinity for in a rarer color for $250. So this may be why there was a vacuum in the market that's just been grabbed by a lot of these other companies that are making out of Vietnam, China, Indonesia, Singapore. Some of them setting up or putting out reasonable guitars, sub $200 guitars, sub $300 guitars, because of the vacuum created by Squier and Fender products just sort of going up in the stratosphere. I don't have Epiphone up, but I know that the what you used to be able to get a Epiphone Les Paul copy for around 200, 150, 200. You can double that, triple that now. I see them, going as low as around 229 and as high as $500-600, and that's an Epiphone, not a Gibson. I don't want to get into debate over, whether Epiphones are that much worse than Gibson's lowest quality. That's for another day. I'm just saying, in the consciousness, the two brands that we used to gravitate towards for bargain guitars were Squier and Squier and Epiphone. And that's not just in electric guitars, that's also in acoustic guitars. Squier does have an acoustic guitar that you used to be able to get for like $50-60, but I see those are even edging up, towards the 150 mark. The same with Epiphone, the cheap Epiphones as well. The DR series you used to be able to get for $70-80. Now they're pushing 150 as well, maybe even higher, maybe 180. And I'm just wondering that with the inflation of those two brands that used to be, so they sort of cornered the market on cheap import guitars, because they have just sort of gone way up in price. There's this vacuum created, and all these other companies have jumped in. Now some of these other companies are starting to go up too. I saw a complaint the other day on the IYV, the Indian Vina Facebook page, where people were complaining that the prices were going up. I've been doing this for so long. I've been monitoring and watching budget brands for so long that to me it's expected, it's normal. Almost every company starts out with an incredible introductory price. They draw in buyers, they get the buzz going, you know, the fanboy pages start up, the Facebook pages start up, and then when they get enough attention to their brands and models, they just start edging up the prices. It's starting with IYB. It's also a little bit with Orangewood as well. Certainly Harley Benton's prices have gone up a little bit. Definitely Agile. I've noticed the Agile guitars have gone up quite a bit as well. So to me it's really, really normal. So what you're seeing with Squier and Epiphone is eventually going to happen with a lot of other brands as well. Last year Sigma put out its new Amazon brands. I think they have 3 models. One was a concert, one was a folk, and the other was a dreadnought. I think they have a practice one as well. So 4. And they launched those guitars at $139, and I did a video back then, and I couldn't believe I got a couple of those Sigmas, and I thought, wow, how are they doing this for $139? These blow away anything, you know, in the hundreds, you know, lower than 150 price range. But of course, that was just an introductory offer. Once they sold those out, they did another run, and I think they're up to about 180, 185. So you're looking at, you know, 200 with tax, still a great deal. I still think it's the best $200 guitar you can buy, direct order. But they've gone up already $60 odd, and they'll go up again. I'm sure that they'll get closer to the 250 range where they should be. So it's a case of creating excitement, interest, getting a buzz started around certain models, and then, you know, when you've got the client base, you just sort of slowly notch them up a month at a time, because that was the intended sale price all along. You just have to start somewhere and generate interest. So yeah, just an interesting observation. I remember everyone used to get Squiers. Everybody used to talk about Squiers. Back in the day, it was the go-to for your budget guitar, and it's just sort of shifted and changed, and there's an influx of other companies that have sort of taken that mantle, because the Squiers have just moved up. You can still get a, you know, Affinity Strat for 200, but try selling a used one. No one's going to give you more than $100 for them. So they're not great for resale. So there's that aspect as well. Yeah, so just an observation about the budget market and why, you know, there's all of this influx of new companies that are starting to thrive and even edge themselves out of the budget, the $300 market. IRT, you know, is sort of inching out of it. If their prices go up, they will be 300 plus market, not lower. And perhaps IYV, the Indian Venas, are going to head that way as well. I noticed the thin line telly with the spalted finish that used to get it for $139 on Amazon is now $190. So yeah, this just happens, and for a reason. Anyway, let me know what your experience is. I'd love to compare with mine. All right, see you on the next one.